and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile, pants are off but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee, talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show, let's go. Headlines spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile, pants are off but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee, talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show, let's go. Serious is overrated, every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town but in a jest, Morning Whiz is always best. Time to run, morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well this morning. Got yourself a little rest, get yourself a little coffee, up and about. Man, oh man, good morning, good morning, good morning, Denise, good morning. And everybody else, I hope you're doing wonderful this morning. I've got Stormy, I've got Robert, I've got Jason, I've got Joan, I got all you fine people there. And if I miss one or two of you, I do apologize. Nice, easy sleep last night. I love the honey badger. Yeah, they're awesome little guys. Yes, they are. I thank Rosalind Duke for that. She knocked it out of the park. I'm still working on getting all the branding, making sure that the store is up and running. We're hoping by February 1st everything happens, but forgive me if it's not quite there. We'll soon see. We'll soon see how it goes. Oh my, oh my, oh my. I've been so busy with a whole bunch of stuff. Man, this morning, the stuff that I've seen is crazy. It's so crazy. So the Mad Hatters at MSNBC try and fail yet again to psychoanalyze Melania Trump. There's no proof that Sigmund Freud ever acknowledged that sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, but whoever coined the phrase was certainly into something. Not everything is chock full of hidden meanings, including a hat. Well, of course, we know that MSNBC is, its ratings are in a free fall. It returned to its old school journalistic roots, publishing today an introspective, hard-hitting, no-holds-barred psychoanalyst of the incoming First Lady's headwear. The message behind Melania Trump's hat. Well, if that doesn't just jumpstart its ratings, nothing will. Hannah Holland, an MSNBC producer and writer, penned this Pulitzer-worthy article in her opinion. Much has been made on social media likening Melania's hat and outfit to morning attire. I disagree. the apparently intentional obstruction of her face, all but entirely eliminating our ability to build connection with her as our First Lady through a television screens, doesn't read as somber. The dark palette was not chosen so she could be regulated to the background unseen in a sea of men's overcoats. No, the hat feels defiant. If you like the metaphor of fashion as armor, the Melania's hat is a shield separating us from them. Okie dokie. Now, I'm decidedly not a fashionista. I'm a t-shirt, blue jeans, flip-flops kind of guy. I'm not. I mean, I'm more like, t-shirt, no pants, no shoes. But in my uneducated view, Melania's hat doesn't look like a shield. It looks like a hat. And here they go. She's dressed for America's funeral. What Melania Trump wore at the inauguration. Oh, including that world watches transition of power on Inauguration Day, the fashion industry eyes ensemble of the First Ladies. Well, Jimmy Fallon, one of the interchangeable Jimmys occupying space on late night TV, mocked Melania for wearing a Hamburglar hat, proving once again that ridiculing a woman's appearance is not only appropriate if she's a Republican, well, not to be mean, if you look like Jill Biden, camel toe, Hillary, Pelosi, and Melania Trump, then decide that Melania is the goofy looking one and there's something wrong with you. Stay classy, Jimmy. Hannah Holland is 100% convinced that Melania's outfit wasn't just selected because it looked great, which it did. It was clearly a code of some sort, the kind of code that only a liberal journalist could decipher. Here were Holland's closing remarks. Melania's outfit, austere and darkly beautiful, unapproachable and severe, conveys a steely readiness and an intentional distance. We do not get access to her perceived or otherwise, as if to say the next 4 years, it seems, are going to be as dire as they seem. Well, that final sentence was a doozy, wasn't? Even Camel Toe was like, yo, too much word salad, girlfriend. But it demonstrates that mens rea of the modern Democrat Party, everything is always conspiracy. Because when Biden was president, everything really was a conspiracy. Forget about an emperor with no clothes. For 4 long years, we had a president without a brain, minus their sycophants in the media and enablers in Capitol Hill. Biden would have been outed as an invalid years ago. Now, that's one hell of a conspiracy. Well, in retrospect, we still have no idea if the calamities that befell us, the Afghanistan withdrawal, unchecked immigration, sky-high inflation, foreign conflicts, corruption, drone attacks, Los Angeles burning to the ground, just were a byproduct of senility. Furthermore, we don't know the extent of Biden's decline, as we all know, is that the media refused to cover it despite the ample evidence to the contrary. Speaker Mike Johnson recent anecdote is chilling. I guess it wasn't just enough of a priority for DC journalists. Unlike Melania's hat, of course, such are the Mad Hatters of MSNBC. Melania always rises above ugly, failed mainstream media. Absolutely. Good to see you. Good morning, Joyce. Yeah, mainstream media is also corrupt, of course. I mean, and it's not just the mainstream media. I mean, come on, folks. You know that we have a certain class out there, and people tend to forget. Oh my God, the amazing part of I've done these multiple times. You've seen the written letters the open letters to Bubbles, that the ones that just drive him absolutely bonkers. You know that he is just completely bouncing off the walls whenever he hears one of those. You know, it just has to send him over the edge. And I get a sick sort of humor out of it, watching him just flounder around like a fish out of water. It just reminds me that I'm not the only one that writes open letters, because there's an open letter to the left-wing bishop who lectured Trump and Vance at the National Prayer Service. If you didn't see it, it's not really worth watching, because you're going to hear just about everything here in almost real time. This morning, while people were still sweeping up confetti, collecting empty champagne flutes from the inaugural balls, President Donald Trump Vice President J.D. Vance and their wives attended the national prayer service at the National Cathedral. For more liturgically minded readers whose wayward Episcopalians in order of service can be found right there. All you have to do is just go to PJ Media and you can pull up the whole thing. It'll take you right to the link. A certain amount of euphemism is to be expected and appreciated at such a service. Jesse J. Swan Jr., chief of the Piscataway and Convoy tribe, gave the invocation. Rabbi Susan M. Shankman read from the Deuteronomy 10:17 through 21, and Cantor Susan Bortic offered the Jewish call to prayer. There were the requisite high-ranking members of the Episcopal Church and the leaders from other Christian faiths, which is fine since the nation is not a homogeneous entity. Curiously, there was a reading from the Quran by Dr. Muhammad Fraser Rahim, the associate imam at Masajid Muhammad, the nation's mosque, and the Muslim call to prayer led by Cantor Shak Kabar Sharif, chief Muhudahanin of the same mosque. One can understand the desire for inclusivity, but at the same time, Islam makes no bones about its disregard and contempt for other religions, especially Judaism and Christianity, but the formalities must be observed, I do suppose. The Right Reverend Marion Edgar Budd, Bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Washington, delivered the sermon. Much of the homily was dedicated to the concept that is the time for us all to get along. There was talk of unity and loving one's neighbor. However, the conclusion was primarily directed at Trump and to an extent Vance. And even as Budd had not called upon the president, there could be no mistaking the intent of the final paragraph. As they say, let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of the loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people of our country. We're scared now. There are gay, lesbian, transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear their lives, and the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals. Really? Are you saying that these are that's a good thing, that you have people from, you have immigrants that are washing dishes? Because they could never hold a position of power. Is that what you're saying? How thoughtful of you, lady. They may not be citizens or have proper documentation. Well, they're not citizens. They don't have proper documentation. They belong back in their country where they can wash dishes. They can raise their country up. They can make beds in their own country. Oh, wait, that's right. They're not allowed to even do that, because some of these might actually be doctors, nurses. They might actually, be able to own a restaurant, but because they've decided to make that long trek and jump the border and cross into the United States illegally, that seems to be something that should be applauded. Okay. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. No, they drain society as a whole. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, something, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away. Well, if they are very fearful, if their children are worried about their parents being taken away because they're here illegally, there's a cure for that, a real good cure for that. They can go with. That way they won't be separated. It'd be wonderful, wouldn't it? And that you help those that are in fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands. Yeah, and if they're supposed to follow the law, right? Right. Yeah. To find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us we are to be merciful to the stranger. That is merciful. That is absolutely merciful. They can go back to whence they came, and the rest of our country can continue to thrive. It's wonderful. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I know he did. We're all want strangers in this land. Well, Bishop Budd, this is the open letter part. If LGBTQ people are afraid, it is largely because of the rhetoric that anyone opposed to transgenderism is a proponent of genocide. You may have missed it, but a fair number of gay, lesbian couples oppose transgender movement because of its sexualization of children. Most conservatives I know really don't care what consenting adults do to one another or to themselves. If you don't believe that, perhaps you should seek more conservatives. There's a whole world outside of your echo chamber. Thank you very much, Knock It Off, Lord. Top of the day, man. I fucking hate Adam Schiff. Liar. Well, you're welcome to do that. I of course agree with you. He is quite a damn liar. Thank you very much. We got more Virgin Space right there. That one's for you. Thank you very much, sir. Right there. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Are you prepared to apologize to parents whose only crime was not wanting their children to be exposed to pornography or racial hatred? Are you willing to make amends with them after governments attack them for simply wanting to keep their children safe? Do you believe it was just, proper, and right to expose small children to sexually charged drag shows? What help will you offer those whose minds, souls, and bodies begin to break down from surgeries, drugs, and hormones? What aid will you give to the detransitioners? What reconciliation will you offer to women who became second-class citizens behind men who wanted to compete in women's sports, haunt women's bathroom, engage in their fetishes? How will you reach out to the girls injured by men playing in women's sports, or to Riley Gaines forced to hide from a crowd of thugs lusting for her blood? Will you reach out to Mark Hook, who was arrested and his family held at gunpoint in the wee hours of the morning on the basis of an untrue accusation of a violation of the FACE Act? Do reproductive rights only go one way, or will you help rebuild the pregnancy centers vandalized by pro-abortion radicals? Is life not also a choice? Will you apologize to the Black, Latino, gay, lesbian, Asian, and other people who look beyond the wild-eyed rhetoric of your compatriots to find common ground with those vile maggots who were subjected to all manner of racial and sexual assaults, slurs, threats? Will you apologize to the Jews in universities and across the nation and admonish those who engaged in violence on behalf of Palestine? Do you seem to care about immigration a great deal? Will you work to stop the flow of fentanyl across the border? Will you help those Americans in Chicago, New York, and other blue cities who have found themselves unable to access housing, food, or medical care because governments have prioritized illegal immigrants? Will you work to heal the wounds of those who have lost loved ones to crimes committed by illegals? Will you house those forced out of their homes by Venezuelan gangs? Will you pledge to stop human trafficking? Will you find homes for those minors shunted aside into slavery by HHS? And what of this vast majority of immigrants who are not criminals? Will you acknowledge that under the previous administration, they were followed here by the very forces of evil they sought to escape? Will you ask them to be accountable to the nation they have come to? Will you demand that the businesses and politicians who have benefited from illegal immigration face scrutiny? We call into account Antifa, BLM, who put cities to torch and assaulted people. We rebuke the Biden family, the warmongers on the left and the right who saw dollar signs in the war on Ukraine. We demand that those politicians, including those on the left, are held accountable for the profits that they made in the stock market using their positions. Will you stand up to BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard? Will you join in calling Big Pharma on the carpet? Are you worried about Trump? Will you even consider the corruption and lies that were endemic to the previous administration? Will you hold your own people to the standard which you wish to retain the opposition? You won't do any of those things because they conflict with your smug, myopic version of justice. And I know of what I speak. I was a leftist and Episcopalian for 40 years. I wasn't, but this person was. You have more than one plank in your eye and spend too much time thanking God that you are not like that tax collector. You demand everything from the other side and nothing from your own. So yet again, I see that when you progressives find yourself in the reins of power in your hands, you're eager to sue for peace and demand mercy, compassion, and understanding, things which when were in your control, you were in no mood to grant to your enemies. Now you seek a truce when months ago you wanted war. Reverend Bud, when you were conscripted as a bishop, you were given a meter and a crook. As a priest, you were given vestments. And if I know the Episcopalian Church, which this person does, you likely have a pectoral cross roughly the size of a railroad trestle. These are not mere trappings of office, as impressive as they may be. Your crook represents the mandate to shepherd your priest. Your stole the yoke of Christ. And remember that you are to bear his burdens on earth. The cross, that is a reminder of the greatest sacrifice made in the history of the world by a Savior you promised to serve. And yet you have no words of admonishment or guidance for your flock. You will happily embrace the inflammatory rhetoric and even violent actions of your side and will be content to turn a deaf ear to those opinions who differ from your own. Christ, whom you serve, called such peoples Pharisees and hypocrites. He also noted everything they do is done for people to see. They make their phylacteries wide and the tassels on their garments long. They love the place of honor at banquets and most important seats in the synagogues. And that's from Lincoln Brown. Hosted the Lincoln Brown Show in Utah. He's also an ex-wildland firefighter, truck driver, bartender, hazmat responder, and columnist who worked to appear at townhall.com and The Hill, and he holds a master's degree in theological studies. That doesn't come from me. Sorry, that just really gets on my nerves. Good morning, Connie Carlson. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Boosh. Good to see everyone here. Adam Schiff committed treason. They colluded with Ukraine to get the classified phone call, produced a false report, entered a fake transcription into congressional hearing to remove the government. Yeah. Crazy, huh? Crazy, crazy stuff. It's insane that these people believe that they can just admonish. Ah. Oh. It's crazy to me. I don't think Trump is going to really deal with the insanity that they want to believe is what is going on here. Think about this. With Trump entering office, it is time to secure our border in the best way possible. What would that be? Our nation's borders have become nothing short of an absolute mess these past few years. That's mainly due to Joe Biden's irresponsible border policies, which have allowed millions of illegals to enter our country and frustrated, unsupported Border Patrol agents down to their very core. But thankfully, that comes to an end this week. Donald Trump has retaken his position in the White House and has already begun to clean house. He vowed to work along ICE agents and law enforcement officials to begin mass deportation of a number of these immigrants. And we'll get to see how that takes shape. But as a significant first step as it is, more work needs to be done. And that's where this person's going to be stepping in with their company, Invest USA. For those unfamiliar with them, they provide bulletproof vests to police officers through various sponsorships and programs. For years, they've been providing officers in need, and especially in times when so many improperly mislabeled them as the enemy. The truth is, they're holding the very fabric of this great nation together, even as others try to tear it apart. But they've decided to go one step further, as detailed in Law Enforcement Today. They're pushing to provide vests to Border Patrol agents in order to keep them as safe as they no doubt fend off potential incoming forces that may try to work their way into our country. Now, on a recent podcast, they noted that these border agents desperately needed the ability to protect and defend themselves, and they were able to come in and make sure that those that didn't have vests were able to allocate them. They deserve your support in every aspect, especially when you consider they have more than immigrants to watch out for. As you're well aware of, Mexican has a way of breeding very dangerous drug cartels that will stop at nothing to make a buck, including red rum, human trafficking, and more. They also include gangs, many of which have attempted to set up shop right here in our country. He said that he has seen a Mexican military escort drug cartels across on a podcast. He's seen drug cartels on the other side of the river shooting 50 cows over the heads of law enforcement officers on American soil just to kind of taunt them. The cartels are saying, we've got the ability to take you out. You don't have the ability to defend yourselves. It's really a life and death situation. So he decided to make it more about the side of life. These Border Patrol agents need to be well equipped to handle hostile forces, especially when they come knocking on the door of our country. And it frustrates this person that it had taken this long to get things moving on the border back. Biden turned such a blind eye to what was happening, refusing to believe that it was his fault and costing his nation billions of dollars just so these immigrants could be properly detained, or worse yet, housed. What's worse is he scorned our Border Patrol agents. He vowed to prosecute those he believed were acting inhumanely against these illegal immigrants, and when in fact they were keeping our nation safe. That's like saving someone from choking on a piece of food, then having them berate you for the fact that you even touched them, and threatening to sue you for it. Be grateful for what you have, not critical of the actions they take. Well, I'm grateful, Biden, not so much, but it's not his problem anymore. And now Trump can make the right moves by taking this country back. The time for excuses and finger pointing's over. It's time to get results. This person's also proud to support anyone who will help guarantee those results. Thank you, officers. Thank you, Border Patrol agents. And let's have a great week. There is a town in West Virginia that's being terrorized with migrants from southern Mexico. Well, then, are they migrants? Are they planning on going back? Because that's what a migrant is. A migrant comes and they migrate, and then they go. A migrant doesn't stay. If they plan on staying, then they would not be a migrant. They would be an immigrant. And if they're not here legally, they would be an illegal immigrant. Or, as might be called, an illegal alien. See, the terminology gets everybody all a little bit twisted and messed up because the news media, especially the AP, and I blame the AP for this crap, is they said we're no longer going to use the word illegal alien. We're no longer going to use the word illegal immigrant. But those words are going away. Because we need to make it, we need to be more inclusive and welcoming. Go look it up. That happened what, 4 years ago? 5 years ago? Some crap like that. Yeah, they stopped using that terminology. Now it's migrant workers that are here illegally, or migrant workers, or migrant this, or migrant that. Undocumented citizens. Yeah, that's mainstream media for you. That's what you get when you listen to mainstream media, is that same kind of crap. And of course, we've heard about this today. Elon's fascist salute. Not so fast as an org that would know. Monday was an exuberant day of celebration for much of America, and then there's the mainstream media. Left-leaning outlets haven't learned the lessons that led us to Inauguration Day 2025, and their coverage of the day also demonstrates it. Elon Musk spoke at the Capital One Arena. Everyone knows that Musk is an awkward figure, and even his heartfelt speech included some awkward gestures. And at one point, he told the crowd, "My heart goes out to you," and gestured dramatically by extending his hand from his heart out to everybody else. It's like throwing your heart out there. Naturally, PBS News interpreted Musk's gesture as a Nazi salute. I did see Mr. Musk during that speech, and we saw the gesture. I don't know whether the audience here interpreted it in the way it was subsequently interpreted on social media. It certainly appears to be a salute. At that time, what he was saying, we went back to the transcript, and I remember him saying, he was saying, "My heart goes out to you." So he was gesturing to his chest, and then there was the hands straight out, which harkens back for a lot of folks to the little German soldier salute. But we didn't see that reaction here. There was a gasp. There wasn't a gasp or a pause or even reinforcement of the gesture. So it's a little hard to tell from where we sat the meaning of it. Commenters on X shared photos of Democrats raising their arms in a similar gesture, and the community notes are on fire. Most notes assert that Musk wasn't channeling Yahtzees in his wave, while some notes cited self-professed Holocaust historian who confirmed that Musk was performing that for sure. The historian was so secure in his opinion that he shut off comments so people couldn't disagree with him. The Anti-Defamation League, not a bastion of Trumpian conservatism, rushed to Musk's defense. In a remarkably magnanimous post on X, the ADL announced, "This is a delicate moment. It's a new day, and yet so many are on edge. Our politics are inflamed, and social media only adds to the anxiety. It seems that Elon Musk made an awkward gesture in that moment of enthusiasm, not a Yahtzee salute, but again, we appreciate that people are." Yeah. Below show more, says ADL's moment. "In this moment, all sides should be given one another a bit of grace, perhaps even the benefit of a doubt, and takes a breath. This is a new beginning. Let's hope for healing and work towards unity in the months ahead and years ahead." Musk replied, "Thanks, guys." The problem, of course, is that the left-wing media is incapable of showing grace to anyone who it disagrees with. It's a problem we've seen time and time again. The left is so worked up over anyone who doesn't fall in line with and behind its policies that it can't help but see those people as its worst enemies, like the boy who cried wolf. Everyone who isn't the far left is extremist. Thus, we can't see that the real extremists whenever they pop up. Also, note to the Democrats, American Press Corps, when everyone you hate is a racist, a bigot, a misogynist, or a Yahtzee, you actually make it very easy for the racist, bigots, misogynists, and the Yahtzees to thrive. They can rise in your failure to distinguish and discern, because if everyone you hate is racist or Nazi, then no one really is, even the real ones. The left is never going to learn its lesson. Self-reflection isn't a leftist quality from what I've seen, and we can only hope that it will keep them out of power for a long time to come. It's a new era, but our calling to report the truth remains, even with the new administration in town. You can still count on PJ Media to tell you the truth, and you can also become a PJ Media VIP. All you have to do, type in POTUS 47 in the checkout, gives you a 74% discount. That's a pretty big amount. Pretty big amount. Ripley, yes. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is a crazy day. It is so crazy that I need to go get my happy self a little bit more coffee. We're going to take just a slight break and let you guys get your own coffee. You get to watch a little bit of the sea otters this morning. Enjoy. I'll be right back in just a couple.
Shizzy when it's chat we thrive, where Shizzy does dance and memes arrive. No quiet moments, no dull night. We laugh and funny sight. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We're living pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream. From shoutouts to those random screams, to inside jokes and endless memes. We talk and Shizzy winners chat, we thrive, where Shizzy does dance and memes arrive. No quiet moments, no dull night. We laugh and funny sight. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We're living pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream. From shoutouts to those random screams, and inside jokes and endless memes. In Shizzy Winner's chat we thrive, where Shizzy does dance and memes arrive. No quiet moments, no dull night. We laugh and funny sight. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We're living pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream. From shoutouts to those random screams, from inside jokes and endless memes. We type our hearts, we spam the love. Our chat rooms like a lit up club. Our chat rooms like a lit up club. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We're living pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream. Ooh, yeah, we come together night and day. We laugh, we play in our way. A family in a cyberspace, loving hearts in this virtual place. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We're living pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream.
Yes. Welcome. Let me turn that banner off there because I do have my fresh cup of coffee, just so you know. So hot on such a cold day. It right now in Atlanta is cold. 12 degrees cold. That's what it's saying. Of course, my temperature gauge reads much different than that. It still reads that it's about 17 degrees outside here. So yeah, it's cold. I don't like the cold. I hate the cold. I despise it. Coffee sounds so good. Yes, it does, Lilu. Yes, it does. Welcome. Now, here we go. We got more. Not with a whine, but a whimper. On cue, the leftists show up with a guillotine. Well, let's all heave a sigh of relief. As I write this, Donald Trump was signing official documents, and in that it allowed him to go to work. I know it's tempting to say that the long national nightmare is over, and to be honest, I felt a weight come off of my shoulders as I watched Biden's plane take off, and I'm sure Marine One made a stop at Ben & Jerry's for a pint of presidential has-been. In the early morning hours, I watched as Kamala Harris stood outside the White House, posing for pictures with J.D. Vance. She looked for all the world like a hyena that had been chased off the carcasses of a dead zebra by a parade of lions. But that is all in the past. As Shakespeare once said, stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once. and has thus far been a great day. And as Paula said earlier today, it is morning in America. And of course, not everyone is thrilled with the events of the day. Someone apparently found an ancient book of infernal spells and resurrected the elderic of demons that the leftists moan and screech on the streets of DC. And here they are. Yep, this is their way of doing things. This is what they have this belief in. Crazy, huh? Well, that is just sad. The usual suspects with a guillotine that looks like a failed shop class project and some hasty lettered signs, one of which shows the current state of American education with "Come get some." See what the Columbian degree will get you. Showing their unusual grit, determination, and commitment, it would appear that the leftist ideologues decided to spend the day rooting around their ashtrays trying to find the butt end of a joint and thumbing through Tinder. National polls noted that the frigid temps may have kept the agents of chaos indoors today. Our sister site Red State reported over the weekend that the onslaught of mutants was not the massive assault that was anticipated. It may be that as the 60s holdovers who have fired their fever dreams of the pink hat parades and pronoun people go the way of the dodo and the stegosaurus, the movement may lose some momentum. After all, icy temps were enough to keep most of them from throwing their temper tantrums in DC that day. But I wouldn't count on it. Depending on your age, you may remember a time during the Reagan administration when we thought the madness was over. As it turns out, the agents of chaos were merely biding their time and planting seeds to ensure that the people's revolution would rise again. But for the grace of God, they might still be in charge of the government and would have begun the process of cementing their hellscape into place today. That said, I don't think they're going to be that they aren't. I mean, just don't think that they aren't regrouping. Even as we speak, the display you see above is comically pathetic, but the architects who inspire whose true believers are still around and are not throwing in the towel by a long shot. And yes, Trump is already jumping into the fray. Illegal immigrants got a wake-up call this afternoon or yesterday afternoon when the CBP1 app went offline. But as a former leftist and child of the 60s liberals, I can tell you that the radical left isn't going anywhere. Even so, while this is Trump's day, it is your time. It's your time to run for school board. It's your time to run for your city council or county commission. It's your time to run for state legislature. It's your time to become a member of your local library board. It's your time to speak out. Back in September of 2022, this person wrote a piece called American Stasi, which took aim at the DOJ as well as on its way to becoming a personal enforcement team of the Biden administration. For the next 2 years, he would reflect on the wisdom of that and even the few conversations with my wife about what to do if a cadre of smalling agents showed up at our door wanting to come in and talk. Guys like Ben Shapiro, Glenn Beck have a cadre of lawyers that could have called if they ran afoul of the government. You and I would have been on our own. When the election was called for Trump, I remember sinking back into my chair and shaking a little. People were no longer going to be prosecuted for speaking their minds. You have for 4 years, maybe 8, but at least 4 to ensure that kind of naked avarice, unbridled hate, and unprincipled and ambition that held sway over the nation for the last 4 years does not have the chance to raise its filthy head again, and you can do it without a threat of being sanctioned. Make the most of this time. And according to Joshua 1:9, have I not commanded you to be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Wow, Betsy, you're colder than me. Yeah, it's cold out there. It's cold out there. Everybody stay warm. Be safe. But it is also good to know that the Senate passes the Laken Riley Act with 12 Dem votes in a big, big Trump win. You'd better hope that Monday's executive order workout didn't leave presidential Donald Trump's signature hand laid up. Soon they'll have the Laken Riley Act to sign, thanks in part to no fewer than a dozen Democrats in the U.S. Senate. Named for the Georgia college student who was murdered last year by a Venezuelan illegal alien. The Laken Riley Act requires authorities to detain illegal aliens suspected of theft. You might think that that law aimed at enforcing existing laws and hopefully preventing the murders of more young women by people who aren't even supposed to be here would be a no-brainer. You might think that, had you ever met or read about a Washington Democrat. So it just goes to show you how insane this country is on simple law and order issues. Authorities are supposed to detain and deport illegal aliens because they're here, well, illegally. All of the left's talk about how illegal aliens commit fewer crimes per capita, which is debatable, than citizens do, is designed to make people forget that every single one of them committed a crime when they illegally crossed the border. I also remember a time when suspected thieves were detained because of suspected theft. Crazy, right? All 51 Republican senators voted in favor, surprising exactly nobody. A stage is set for the bill to return to the House for reconciliation, followed by Trump's signature. If you had asked me a long time ago, the election was a long time ago, right? How many Democrats would vote yay on Laken Riley and would have said 3, 4? I could see John Fetterman getting on board with some common sense, and Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego can't afford to annoy their constituents in Arizona that much. Honestly, with so many other big stories, I wasn't following the Laken Riley Act story very closely. That's probably why I missed it last week when 10 Democrats, enough to trump a filibuster, voted yay on procedural vote to limit debate and move the bill forward. Since then, 2 more Democrats signed on board. Polls showed overwhelming support for increased border security, and yes, even for mass deportation of illegals. That's how you got those 12 Democrats crossing the aisle to support common sense legislation. John Fetterman, Ruben Gallego, Maggie Hassan, Mark Kelly, John Ossoff, Raphael Warnock, Gary Peters, Jackie Rosen, Catherine Cortez Musto, Jean Shahanian, Elisa Slotik, and Mark Warner. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking the same thing this guy on X is thinking. Yes, Warnock. Times are changing indeed. Notice that both of Georgia's Democrat senators voted for the Laken Riley bill. Warnock and Ossoff both owe strange twists of fate. Don't even get me started on that again for their Senate seats. I'm not sure they would survive nay on this or certain other bills Trump wants to sign. We've seen many signs in the last few days that Trump's election was more than just a guy from another party winning the White House. There is a political shift taking place, more importantly, a cultural shift too. Trump and congressional Republicans can and should use that power to bring swing states and red state Democrats on board with legislation that they'd otherwise oppose. That's what you call bringing people together. Okay, sorry. I don't know what happened. No, used to it. Dang, I can't type. Oh, don't you worry. I don't know what happened, but I'm sure it was glorious. It always is. It always is glorious. Oh my gosh, I must have missed this one here. Mel Klump gave a super sticker of $4. Holy cow. That must have come in before I started the stream. Thank you so much, very much, Mel. That is very kind of you. I've got a special spot right there for you. Or maybe I already got it and you just get an extra sticker because I feel so generous today. It's wonderful. It's so wonderful. You guys are great. We like to keep it all so much fun. Have anyone seen the call video from Putin and Trump? No, but we do have this here. It's funny that you would mention that. Trump takes office and suddenly Putin wants a lasting peace with Ukraine. Weird how that works. There's a new sheriff in town, ladies and gents, one who doesn't take well to international bullies, and one of those bullies has already changed his tune, or at least Russian strongman Vladimir Putin wants the world and President Donald Trump to think he has. Speaking of peace with Ukraine, Putin has said in the hours immediately following Trump's swearing in, the goal should not be a temporary ceasefire, a short-term pause for regrouping forces and rearming to continue the conflict later, but a lasting peace based on the respect for legitimate interests of all people and nations living in the region. Those words don't exactly jibe with Putin's Biden-era dismissals of Ukraine's sovereignty and the right to exist as an independent nation. Famously, or perhaps infamously, depending on who you ask, Trump claims to have kept the peace during his first administration by warning Putin, we're going to hit Moscow if he invaded Ukraine. Trump later told his golfing buddy, John Daly, that Putin sort of believed me, like 5-10%, but that's all you need. Because once the bullets start flying, not the mention of drones, making peace is a hell of a lot more difficult than merely maintaining it. Trump began that process within a week of his re-election last fall. According to a report in the November 10th edition of Washington Post, Trump and Putin spoke for about 20 minutes just 2 days after Trump's re-election. During the call, the paper reported Trump advised the Russian president not to escalate the war in Ukraine and reminded him of Washington's sizable military presence in Europe. That's according to the usual person familiar with the call, who, like others interviewed for this story, spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss a sensitive matter. Ukrainian officials have been informed of the Putin call and did not object to the conversation taking place. The usual people familiar with the matter inside the Trump camp also told Washington Post Ukrainian officials have long understood that Trump would engage with Putin on a diplomatic solution to the war. Battle space realities should also help bring both sides to the peace table. It's probably correct to conclude, as the Telegraph's Ambrose Evans Pritchard did last month, that although Ukraine is slowly losing the 3-year conflict on the battlefield, Russia is slowly losing the economic conflict at a roughly equal pace. The Russians' military spent 2024 pushing Ukraine hard, likely hoping to bring the war to a successful conclusion before the U.S. election, but a horrifying cost in blood and treasure. Although it angered certain readers here, Trump's decision in December to continue military aid to Ukraine signals to Putin that there will be no successful conclusion, while the risk to Russia's economy and Putin's hide increase. However, continued aid to Ukraine won't solve that country's manpower shortages or soothe the people's growing war fatigue. What a great time then to bring both sides to the negotiating table, isn't it? Isn't it now? Do you have to get up? No. Just pull those blankets back up over the shoulder, roll over, and go. Yeah. It's too cold to get up this morning. You just want to be all nice and cozied up. Just sleeping like crazy. And we've got from the morning briefing from Stephen Cruzier. I think I'm saying the name right. It could be Cruiser, but I'm not sure. I guess I would have to hear him say what his voice is. What his name is. Sorry, hold on. There we go. The morning briefing. Democrats are horrible people. Let's crush them while we can. Happy Wednesday, dear Cruiser morning briefing friends. The Wald wouldn't entertain any van conversion that didn't have adequate fresh shrimp storage. As I'm fond of reminding my brilliant readers, I have been a Republican activist for over 40 years now. Yes, it's a bit of a flex. My ego does need to be fed, but I mostly bring it up to provide context for anything I write or say about either of the two major political parties. The Democrats in 2025 are not the same kinds of people I've known through my activism career. They began to take a turn for the worst in late 2008, really hit the gas on the awful mobile in late 2016. A casual observer from another time or another planet might have thought that the Dems couldn't be more unhinged than they were in January of 2017. But an observer would be very, 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 very wrong. President Donald Trump and his Republican majority in Congress are dealing with a Democrat Party that is in dire need of full-time supervision from a mental health professional. These are emotionally and psychologically unwell people who should be treated as such. Republican elected officials in Washington, D.C. have no obligation to treat their Democrat counterparts with any hint of bipartisanship. And if they do, it's akin to a pretty girl in the early 70s telling Ted Bundy that she would love to go to dinner with him. Did I just liken Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, and their Democrat colleagues to a serial killer? Yes, yes, and yes, he did. They may not come at your physical body, but they want to shove a knife in the heart of any number of freedoms that the Constitution of the United States has promised us. The modern Democrat Party's philosophy is anti-ethical to all that this country has held sacred from its founding. Don't play nice with them. While the Republican majorities in the House and Senate may not be overwhelming, they're still majorities. It's bitterly divisive era of American politics. The results of the 2024 election are, in fact, a clear mandate. President Trump knows that. He came out of the gate after he was sworn in on Monday, showing that he meant business. Republicans in the legislative branch need to follow suit. The Democrats and their flying monkeys in the mainstream media are already neck deep in the provocation and obfuscation of dealing with Trump's new order. They'll be drowning in it by the time you read this. My colleagues are busy documenting the wretchedness of the Dems. Here's an example from something that Sarah wrote yesterday. Today, I was greeted by headlines about how imperialism will be the downfall of the United States. Pictures of supposed illegal immigrants crying outrage over the number of white people at the inauguration, outrage over the number of wealthy people at the inauguration, questions about whether Trump can actually do a number of the things he did on Monday, January 6th, virtue signaling, the panic over any number of executive orders signed. There was also commentary about the First Lady's outfit, funeral wear, several called it, claiming she was subtly showing that she was just as upset about a second Trump turn as the mainstream media is. And my favorite, the freaking out over Elon Musk making a salute because he dared raise his hand in the air in celebration. And that was just the first day of Trump 47. Imagine. The Republican advantage right now is not just having a majority in the executive and the legislative branches. Democrats are in complete disarray at the moment. Yes, they can shout and play the obstructionist game, but they're a severely weakened, rudderless party. Now is the time for the grand old party, better known as the GOP, to swing with all its might to deliver a devastating punch to its opponent. I'm not saying that the Dems can be completely destroyed. I'm saying that now is the time to put a boot on the throat of the enemy who's on the ground and make it clear that said enemy is going to be there for a while. The boots are on your feet, every Republican in Congress. And what he means by this, and I'll be very clear on this, is not to incite any sort of violence. But what he's saying is you have the power now. Now is the time to make sure that you quash that kind of garbage that we've been seeing for the past 4 years, past 8 years, past 16 years. The same garbage that has been bringing people down, not supporting people in this country. Very important note on that. But we have this wonderful video. Just some baby lambs and a cat. I mean, what could be better? What could be better? Oh my, oh my, oh my. So how are you guys doing this morning? I hope I'm not driving you absolutely crazy. See, you start showing the cute little animals, and next thing you know, everyone's in love. It's beautiful. And that's what we need, is just a little more peace and happiness inside this political realm. And you think that right now it hasn't got started. That's the sad part about all of this is the left hasn't really gotten started with all of their shenanigans. Let me do something real quick. And I was talking with Tug about this. So this way, let's do this. There you go. Because people are having a hard time using my name whenever they put a post up there. Whenever they whenever they put me on their streams. But you have to understand that if you just Shizzy Whiz Nut right there you go. SWN. Easy to remember. And part of the logo here, I'll show you what I've got. Just a second, let me show you. Yeah, that's the new backdrop right there. So you see that, or you see this this other logo that I've got going on. Or anytime you see a honey badger, just know that that's where I'll be. That's me. That's me hanging out. That's me in the losing my religion. See that one there? Got that one also. See, got the honey badger. Got the honey badger. You have transformed into a swan. Oh, swan. There you go. No, just a shizzy whiz nut. It's pretty simple. It helps out. Swan would be hilarious, though. I'd rather say it. I love it. I love it. No, you can still call it shizzy whiz nut, but this way you've got just the initials. So if you see me on someone's stream, you'll know that SWN means that shizzy whiz nut is going to be there. So any of these folks that you follow, it'll be easy for them to put it in there without having to worry about getting in trouble with my name. Because immediately people are getting demonetized if they just use my name. So I'm with you, Shizzy. Jeans, shorts, and flip-flops. Well, you're with me, but it's usually no jean shorts for me. But Lily, that might be interesting. Just not in this frigid cold, I guarantee. Thank you so much for being a member for 1 month. And I look forward to keeping you around for a long, long time and keep you entertained. I really do. That was for you there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I love the honey badger. Yes, the honey badger was definitely a good part. And I'll probably redo a video of using the honey badger for one of them that I currently have and see what you guys think of it. It should be good. It should be good. It's going to take a little bit of time, as all things do. Shizzy, if you're a swan, does that mean you're not real? I never was real in the first place. What do you mean? I don't exist. I only exist here on the YouTubes. I only exist here on the YouTubes. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I mean, I have a life outside of the YouTubes, but it is it's pretty chill. And yeah, this was Trump's response to all of the bullshit that the bishop wanted to speak about. It was right here. There we go.
What did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the?
What did you think of the service?
What did you think? Did you like it? Did you find it exciting? Not too exciting, was it? I did think it was a good service, though. Thank you very much.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
They can do much better.
Yeah, that was his response. Did you like it? I mean, did you get a thrill out of it? Did it tickle all of you in the right spot? Did you get all excited? Did it make you just get all wet and inside? Yeah. He wasn't happy about it, but he sat there, he listened to her. I can't believe that bishop. Oh, I can. All you had to do is look at the haircut. Well, that was reserved for Trump. Yeah. Because it shows how unhinged people are. You know, he actually had enough respect not to do anything untoward. Should he have lied and said it was good? No, I don't think he should have at all. I think he should have gone a little harder out on it, but he didn't. He didn't. And then there's also this right here. Emily Damari breaks her silence after surviving 471 days in captivity. Over the weekend, as part of the current ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas, Hamas released 3 Israeli hostages who had been in captivity since October 7th, 2023. Among them was a 28-year-old British Israeli national, Emily Damari. While pictures of Damari and the other 2 young women who were released flooded social media on Sunday, none of them has spoken out until now. Damari took to her own Instagram account and told her followers that I came back to life before thanking God, her family, and her friends, according to the BBC. She added that she saw some of the world's reaction to her release, and that affected my heart. Note the message was translated from Hebrew to English. Despite the horrific details that have come out about the conditions and the care of the hostages faced during their time in captivity, Damari is said to be in stable condition. When Hamas terrorists invaded her home on that fateful day, they shot and killed her dog in front of her and shot her in the hand. Pictures shared after her release showed that her hand was still bandaged and appeared to be missing 2 fingers, something her mother confirmed via a statement and picture posted on X. On Monday, Damari's mother, Mandy, released a statement, bring them home now, that began yesterday. I was finally able to give Emily the hug that I have been dreaming of, she added. From the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank the many people who played a role in bringing Emily home and given their support to me and my family. As I said over the course of the campaign, you are all Emily's family. I am relieved to report that after her release, Emily is doing much better than any of us could have ever anticipated. I am also happy that during her release, the world was given a glimpse of her feisty and charismatic personality. In Emily's own words, she's the happiest girl in the world. She has her life back. In this incredible happy moment for our family, we must also remember that 94 other hostages still remain. The ceasefire must continue, and every last hostage must be returned to their families. As wonderful as it is to see Emily's resilience, these are still the early days, and as you will have seen yesterday, Emily lost 2 of the fingers on her left hand. She now needs time with her loved ones and her doctors as she begins her road to recovery. Neither Emily, myself, or other members of her family will be giving interviews or further comments in the immediate future, and we appreciate being given space and privacy to heal at this time. And there's Emily right there, missing those 2 fingers. Shortly before Emily was free, her mother also filmed a video thanking Donald Trump for his role in securing her daughter's release. And that's about all I have on that. Pretty heartbreaking that, you know, this young lady had to suffer at the hands of people. Pretty heartrending. Oh, interesting. I like this guy really matters here. But looks like Doug Emhoff had a hissy fit over a fake story before the inauguration. Doug Emhoff, the former second gentleman, demonstrated just how firmly the left clings to debunked narratives during a ceremonial tea at the White House before Donald Trump's inauguration. Emhoff refused to shake hands with Bruce Fisher, the husband of Senator Deborah Fisher, citing a prior incident that the left turned into yet another false story to smear conservatives. The irony of this moment couldn't be more apparent. Democrats often claim to be so worried about misinformation, yet just constantly cling to the lies long after they've been debunked. The backstory is straightforward enough. Earlier in January, during a traditional Senate chamber swearing-in ceremony, former VP Camel Toe offered her hand to Bruce Fisher. Harris even joked, "I'm not going to bite," but Fisher simply responded, "Thank you," without shaking her hand. The video of the moment quickly went viral. Leftists latched onto the narrative that Fisher had refused to shake Harris's hand out of disrespect. The moment was entirely different. Fisher wasn't snubbing Harris. He was using a cane in one hand and holding a Bible in the other. But facts hardly matter when the left smells an opportunity to malign a Republican as rude or potentially racist. Despite the truth being readily available, the viral lie persisted in progressive circles. At the White House tea, Emhoff confronted Bruce Fisher, questioned why Fisher had tried to shake his hand when in Emhoff's deluded mind, he had previously refused to shake Camel Toe's hand. While Camel Toe was smiling for the camera ahead of President Trump's inauguration, he was steaming. And not just about Monday at the ceremonial tea White House before the motorcades head to the U.S. Capitol, the former second gentleman refused a handshake from Bruce Fisher, the husband of inauguration co-chair Nebraska Senator Debbie Fisher, a person familiar with the interactions, tells CNN. And it was still on Emhoff's mind on Monday. "Why would you try to shake my hand?" he told Bruce Fisher, according to the person familiar with the interaction, "when you wouldn't shake my wife's hand." Well, this moment, far from making Emhoff look like the protective alpha male he likely envisioned, only underscored the left's resilience and reliance on false narratives to justify their behavior. What's most revealing about this interaction is how it exemplifies the left addiction to misinformation, as they've proclaimed themselves defenders of the truth. They rail against fake news while eagerly embracing stories that fit their narrative, no matter how thoroughly debunked. Emhoff's rehashing of trivial and false claims demonstrates how liberals have become attached to fake stories. It's moments like this that remind us why trust in the media and political institutions, when it's at an all-time low, when those who claim the moral high ground repeatedly demonstrate their willingness to twist facts, their credibility evaporates. Instead of letting go of a narrative proven false, they double down and seek to weaponize it. The left's refusal to give up on that debunked story about a simple misunderstanding at a Senate ceremony shows just how far they will go to cling to a narrative. Truth be damned. Thank you, Matt Margolis. That was a wonderful story. Welcome, Robin Norris. Robin Norris has become the newest member of this nut house. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I have got a nice little sticker for you right there. Virgin materials still there. My Lord Almighty. Thank you so much, Robin. Thank you for your support. And if I missed anybody, I don't think I did. I think I got that. Yeah, I got you. I got you all. It seems like you're doing wonderful. Seems like you guys are just doing just fine. It is 8:17. Good golly, Miss Molly. Good golly, Miss Molly. We've got another one that I wanted to bring up before it got too far gone. This one is from John Stossel. I really like John Stossel. He's got some pretty good ideas. I don't agree with everything that he says, but he has some pretty good ideas. The end of ESG at Disney. Sustainability investments became popular a few years back. So-called experts said companies shouldn't just focus on profit. They should put more effort into being nice. Funds pushing ESG, environmental, social, and governance were all the rage. Giant investment firms like BlackRock pressured companies to hire more women and minorities. CEO Larry Fink announced all investments are going to be looked through sustainability. But sustainability is the most meaningless word. Parnassus claimed that helped meet UN sustainability goals of nutrition and sanitation by investing in U.S. foods and Clorox. Starbucks phased out plastic straws while adding lids that used more plastic. BP branded itself as Beyond Petroleum, wisely mostly invested in petroleum. Former Vice President Al Gore made money peddling climate change hysteria and created sustainability investment funds, claiming sustainability factors actually enhance returns. His funds did enhance Gore's own returns. He made millions, but over the past 3 years, his sustainable fund underperformed the stock market. Recently, the fund managers admitted that they made investment mistakes. Most funds promoting sustainable investment did worse than the market did. So, why did trillions of dollars pour into such funds? Because the pressures, says Matt Cole, CEO of Strive Investments, in his new video. The largest clients are blue states pension funds like Calipers and the New York Pension Fund, who put pressure on them. Adopt these agendas, or you're going to lose us as your largest customer. Capers still brags about mitigating climate risk and adding climate conscious board members to Exxon's board. Presidential climate envoy John Kerry pompously bullied banks. They will invest into climate-related efforts, he intoned. Today, banks and even BlackRock are running from the sustainability nonsense. What you're seeing, says Cole, is ESG funds shuttering at record speed, and they're not apologizing. Progressives, they never do. This fad didn't just hurt investors, it hurt companies that America needs. America needs high-performance computer chips. Intel was once the leading manufacturer of such chips, but now, even as Congress gives Intel billions in taxpayer handouts, the company is cutting thousands of jobs. Why? Intel's competitors have innovated. Intel's obsessed about sustainability. Intel's website lists endless ESG goals like environmental health, wellness, safety programs to care for people and the planet, even brags about green software, whatever that is. That's a lot of energy spent not making the best chip. When companies spend their time sucking up politicians, or sucking up to politicians rather than innovating, they often decline. Intel's stock fell 60% last year. Fortunately, today more companies are focusing on basic capitalism, producing better products for less money. Ford recently announced it will no longer require employees to take the Alphabet Soup Advocacy Group surveys. USA Today reported that Lowe's will reduce its participation in the Human Rights Campaign to narrow its focus to safe and affordable housing. When John Stossel was the co-host of 2020, he wondered what would happen when Disney bought ABC. Not much changed for a while, but a few years later, after repeatedly rejecting videos he proposed about problems with the Obamacare, ABC fired him. Still later, he laughed as he watched Disney go full woke. The president of the entertainment content division said, "We have many LGBTQIA plus and C and P characters in our stories, and yet we don't have enough leads." Disney's television animation producer said, "It was just whenever I could, adding queerness." But many such movies flopped. The Marvels, including the Muslim team and the black female sidekick, lost $237 million. Lightyear, featuring the first same-sex kiss on a Disney Pixar movie, lost $106 million. Elemental, featuring a non-binary character, a lake with earrings, didn't even reach $30 million its opening week. Now Disney's quietly scaling back. More companies have started to recognize the need to focus on their core business rather than virtue signaling. It's the beginnings of an unwind, says Cole, that I think is going to be critical for us to achieve success. I wonder why they were so dumb in the first place. Crazy, isn't it? Do you think they'll get out of the peddling of these kinds of social credit scores that everyone thinks that they need to have? I would hope so. I hope they would see the errors of their ways and stop with the silliness. It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. I'm just really curious. Really curious how all of this ends up. What do we have going on today? Let me take a quick look and get this set up for you guys. I want to make sure that you guys are sent to a wonderful, place to go hang out after this is all said and done. Turn on that right there. I thought I turned it on last night, but I didn't. Alas, I failed. Customization. There we go. I didn't even put a trailer up for you guys. That's so crazy. I thought I did that also. I'm going to be sending all you fine people over to go see the most glorious Mo in the Deep End today. I do have to jump off of here. I've got a few things to take care of. Personal kinds of things this morning that need to be taken care of. Wow, I didn't do jack squat this morning for setting this up. That's so horrible. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Your meds flips your stomach first thing in the morning, but the thoughts of Elona PNR and her straw just made your stomach more queasy. Go to Mo. Yeah, absolutely. We'll be sending you guys over to Mo. Thank you, Shizi, for a lovely morning. And no, thank you guys for being here. It has been a great day, and I look forward to doing it all over again tomorrow morning. Keep an eye out. Hopefully I have something out here this evening. I've got, like I said, I've got a few things that need to be taken care of. Hopefully I can get that store up and running within the next few days. See if there's any sort of errors that might have popped up, because they love to tell you, nope, you screwed up. So I'm trying to resolve all those issues and get those straightened out. And in the meantime, I want everyone to have a beautiful day. Go say hi to Mo, show her a little bit of love, and I will see you guys very, very soon.
Bless your heart. I thought I was the only mentally challenged one here.
Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Early morning, rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning Whiz is always best. Ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.